Welcome to
Melanin and Cocktails.
We're Like a Good Cocktail. The opinions may be strong, sweet, or salty.
So stay tuned.
Okay, ladies.
Okay, so I guess we're doing double relationship tonight. My question was, I'm obviously not dating anymore, but just for those who are dating, we have two on the show, and just for those listening, when is the right time to tell somebody that you have warrants or that you owe a bunch of money to, whether, like you owe a bunch in student loans? What?
I thought the question.
That is not the question.
Yeah.
I'm still saying the question. Just within dating somebody, within talking to somebody, when's the right time to tell them things that are actually really important? You have STD or
can I just say? I think.
Did she say STD?
Can I just say? I think a good question that would be when to introduce the man to your kids, and it would have been funny because Ryan met you pregnant. So that would have been really good to know. Like, when would have been a good time to tell him you had kids? Sometimes you meet the dude pregnant.
I knew from day one.
Yeah.
And he had a kid.
Ryan was sitting in the delivery room like,
He's telling you to push.
Push, Christina, push.
Push. We're going to deliver this baby here next to this file cabinet. But,
right, my water broke right there.
Would it be weird to ask you out for drinks? Right,
once you're done feeding.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Okay, that's gross. Okay.
So this got derailed. But back to your question: when do you?
But yeah, I think it's just when's a decent time to share very important information about your background or even current ground with someone that you're talking to. / yes, for those who are single parents, when's a decent time to let somebody meet your children, because that is also very important.
She muted herself right at the end.
Oh, sorry.
What are your thoughts?
You said Arena?
I said Amanda.
Oh, Amanda. My bad. So, no one has ever met my children except for one person. And that was my last relationship. And I didn't allow him to meet my kids until maybe 6 or 7 months. After we started dating, we were together for 1.5 years. And I still did not want him to meet them, but he was kind of like pushing the issue. Like, I want to meet your children. I want to see how they interact with me. But I'm a stickler for, I don't want you to meet my kids until I know it's serious.
Right.
Almost till you put a ring on my finger. Because I have mixed emotions. I have 2 daughters, teenagers. And for me, I just thank God that they didn't become attached. And when we broke up, they really didn't care. They did. They weren't attached to him. And they even gave me some very mature advice and information that I didn't know. And, that just goes to show that kids are very smart and they watch everything that's going on.
Yes.
So I'm just happy that they weren't attached, but I don't think that you should introduce your kids to, the person you're dating until it's serious and possibly on the verge of marriage.
And also, just for those listening, because we only, share so much, he in his world, he was about to try and wife Amanda. So that's why he was pressing the "let me meet your kids" thing. And yeah.
And he was upset. He was like, "Your kids never call me." I'm like, because they call their dad. Like, what? I don't know what you want them to call you and tell you. Yeah, so he was in his feelings because my kids were not attached to him the way he wanted. And I just thought that was a little weird. But
and how to be a good step parent, we will be talking about that later on, not right, but another time, because
but he didn't have kids and he'd never been married. So he really didn't understand what was going on. But yeah, I mean, they have a father.
But it was also because they really weren't feeling them that much too, right?
Exactly. They kind of would see certain things that I did see, but I wasn't accepting it because I kind of got comfortable in the relationship. I wasn't that happy, and they saw that and they pointed that out to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I say kids see everything. And they were like, you couldn't be yourself in this relationship. You kind of, and after it was over, I saw that. I was like, you're right. I can't be myself. I have to live up to a certain standard with this person. And so I'm glad it ended, but I wish they never met him.
Right.
Because you don't want to introduce your kids to everybody that you date.
No,
And they
Uncle
know
so
that.
and so.
Yeah. Why is mommy dating uncle? That's nasty. But
no.
Like old timey, they would introduce
Right.
the dude as uncle. Oh, this is just Uncle Pat, and then next it's Uncle Carl, and then Uncle's like, ma'am.
Yeah.
And we have
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. So, Charlotte, how do you feel about it?
Oh,
did you have any?
yeah. I grew up
with Zach back in the day.
I'm sorry.
Did you have anything that was hard to share with Zach back in the day when you were actually dating?
Just my idiosyncrasies, but he discovered those. Yeah, I mean, I think for dating people, it's when you feel comfortable to share certain things, I mean, I think we live in a world now where like we put everything typically like on social media. And so a lot of times, I'm just saying the average person, especially younger people do. I think it's okay to reserve things, and
Right.
if you feel comfortable, why share it? And if you have a criminal record, it really is nobody's business until you are maybe thinking about being in a monogamous committed relationship with them, and then you might go to buy something and then it's like, oh wait, my credit's affected because there was that stint.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, yeah, of course, I think it's common courtesy. Like I would want to be told, if Zach had a previous record or so, or whatever, because it affects my life,
Right.
But I mean, I think just on top of, and this is like a deeper discussion, I think also you're talking about sharing not only like history, but like also like trauma that you maybe experienced. And that's something that you could be bringing into a relationship. And when do you feel comfortable discussing that with a person? Because that's going to obviously affect your life. So, I think it's when you feel comfortable and when it's going to affect the other person's life. Arena, what do you think?
So are we bringing everything into one, like the serious stuff with the kids and all that other stuff, or?
Yeah, I'm fine taking the next 4 or 5 seconds. Or were you ready, Arena?
No, I'll just go ahead because I don't really have much to say. I was just gonna basically say what Charlotte said. I guess like depending on it, but to me it depends on what it is. But yeah, it's like, but I would say that I wouldn't wait a super long time, but at the same time, it's like I need to feel like this is somebody that this could go somewhere. And then I need to make sure you're trustworthy, that if I tell you, it's going to stay with us. You know what I mean?
Right, true.
Yeah, but what do you consider a super long time?
I was going to say, yeah, you got to quantify it, baby. That's what we're trying to do tonight.
Assuming that the relationship was going well and you felt like it was going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like at this point, we've already done the what's your favorite color, and now now we are official. We are boyfriend and girlfriend.
If it was me personally, I'd probably let them know probably by the end of the first 3 months, just because I don't want to waste time. Right. And then I tell somebody something later and they're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with it.
Deal breaker for me. Yeah.
Right. After I'm already attached.
Somebody to your kids in 3 months.
Oh, are we talking about kids?
Anything. This is everyone's own opinion.
Okay, well, see, that's different. Like, I'm not talking about, okay, I'll separate kids. So, but we're talking about non-kid stuff right now. Okay. That's my answer for non-kid stuff.
Okay.
Whether it's like I don't know, debt, STDs, whatever, stuff like that.
Okay.
Long enough for you to know that you like them and long enough to know that you can trust them, but not so long that you're super attached to them if it goes left.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
With the kids, I don't have any kids. And so I can't give you from that perspective. Me personally, I don't.
When would you want to meet somebody's child?
Yeah, so I can't say about me introducing anybody because I don't have any, but I don't want to meet yours.
Ever.
No,
Right.
I don't want to meet you.
no, I'm thinking until
Keep them in the basement.
I don't like your
until I'd probably say I give it a good 6 months, you know, because I feel like by then you have a better feel for the relationship. Like whenever you're starting to feel like, okay, this person could be it,
Mhm.
and maybe at that point, then I want to meet them.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. So was that your last statement? Because I don't want to start because I got emotions about this.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, Christina. What's your
Go
thought?
ahead.
For me, I want to know about the warrants, the back child support, and STD like first month. And I say that because I'm also like really special. So like the heart gets involved pretty quick. So tell me ASAP so that I have a little bit of clear mind still to be like, wait, I don't like any of that. And I'm going to exit myself from this situation. I am a child of divorce, I'll say. And so I met, not uncle anybody, but I met, you know, somebody that my mom was dating back in the day. And I met ladies that my dad dated. I remember I loved 2 ladies that my dad dated in regards to like one was super nice and she like, we went to the beach and we went to Disneyland and she did my hair and it was just so fun. And she was single and young. I know that I remember that part now, but like, I just remember having a great time with her. And then there was another lady, and keep in mind, I was an only child for like 10 years of my life. So at this time still of them dating people, I'm still an only child. So that lady was this Disneyland beach lady, super fun, loved her. And then there was a lady who had,
How old were you with her?
I'm probably like 7 or 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like really adorable because my mom did my hair.
That's the age you fall in love with someone fun.
Right. And then the next lady still at this point, maybe I'm 8.5 to 9. This lady had a daughter and then she had a niece that she was raising. So, oh my gosh, I'm not alone anymore. And girls, super great time, you know, and they were awesome. And honestly, can't even say I really remember her. I just remember that she came with girls.
Wow, that's exciting.
So I don't know how long my dad dated these ladies. And you know, he might talk to me later about not putting his business out in the streets. He's happy now for 20 something years.
You remember being let down. You remember being let down because neither one of them worked out.
Exactly. But my thing is, as a child, I know that then who he ended up marrying, he was for sure in love with. I think like at that point he realized like, hey, maybe she shouldn't meet everybody. But so he was in love with her, but like for me, it took a little bit longer to get a better relationship with her. / I missed the other 2 chicks. So I will say, being a child of divorce, and then being a single mom myself, don't let nobody meet your kids. Honestly, you know, the dream was to get married when my kids were like super duper young, you know, 4 and 1 years old, because like it would just be great. We would all grow up as a family together. But unfortunately, my son was a teen and my daughter was a preteen, and it worked out. But at the same time, my situation's different because we had kind of seen Ryan in different situations before that, but not as my partner. And so it made the transition a little bit easier. However, anyone that I had dated before that, it was the one person that I did let meet them, we were talking about marriage. And then guess what? We did not get married. So I will say.
Wait, is that the person me and Laura know?
Exactamundo. And it was such a fun date. And so anyone else though, there was no, you were not meeting my kids. And my kids were like really adorable, you guys. But yeah, so I will say, do not let people meet your kids. It's not good for the kids, and it's not good for even the person, because you're at the end of the day too, you're bringing the representative as you're dating, and especially as you're trying to meet somebody's children. Children can sense things though too, so I will say that. But I just say, for the health of your child, make sure that you are serious about this person. It's not nice to them to meet and love or think that they love, somebody, and next they're just gone.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what happened? That was my homie.
That's sad. That makes me feel really sad for 8-year-old you, because I can see you like just really bonding with this person. Like, we're going to Disneyland, we're on the beach, she did my hair. And then when they break up, you're like, well, what's that got to do with me and her? Daddy? Can me and her still hang out?
I'm like, no, but for
yeah, exactly. You didn't see anything.
That was going to be my question. Like, do you stay in touch with her daughters? Because I know my mom, when my parent, because I come from I'm product of a divorce too. And my mom started dating someone and he had 3 daughters. And I grew up with his 3 daughters. Now we still stay in touch. I don't stay in touch with him, but me and his daughters, we still stay in touch. We follow each other on Facebook, Instagram. We hang out from time to time. So do you still keep in touch with her daughters? Do you know where they're at or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I was 8, and this is before social media. Like
No, I was too. I was young. I was like 9, 10 years old, and we still stay in touch.
But it sounds like your people were together a bit more. Mine was like, I met them a couple of times and I was like, yeah, Dad, she's the one. And then he was like, we're never seeing her again.
Okay. No. Okay. See, my mom was with him for many years. So, okay.
No, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, make sure it's like we're about to be married, because,
okay,
love you, Dad. But like, he was like, I like her. We cool. I met like 4 weeks ago. And you in the house tonight, and we about to do this and meet old girl. And it's like, okay. And now I like her. And he's like, but now 2 weeks later, forget about her. We've moved on. But I didn't, Dad. I didn't. So yeah.
Christina, question.
Huh?
I said, do you think it would have mattered as far as like your age, like versus a child being 7 versus a child that's 17?
Oh, well, yeah, that means
that's a good question.
As an older child, I think that you are on guard more. I think if he had done things, I don't want to say right, because you only know what you know at the time. But if he had sheltered me more, I'll say that, from who he was dating, I think that 17 me still would have been like, yeah, I want you to be happy. And I would have been receptive, but of course I wouldn't have been as easy to be like, our family's back together, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Whereas like at that age, my mom was dating, I didn't have, some kids though, they'll have a parent who's sad, and it's like, so now I have to hate whoever you're dating because this parent wants you. But no, but my mom was dating, my dad was dating. So in my world, it was just like, no, we about to be a big family. It's all going to be great. Everyone's going to find new love. And I'm going to have somebody to enjoy spending time with me. And we're going to Disneyland at the beach, You
and this beach Disneyland girl.
Right.
So yeah, I think that regardless, if you just make sure that you love your children, spend time with them, and your mates though, like until they are going to be your forever mate, don't do that. And the sad thing is though, a lot of people will just like date for 3 years and 4 years, and then actually like they move in together and then they decide to break up. So it's like for them, they're like, I can't do it, but it's like, technically you can. Sorry, you can't save on rent, but you're gonna have to just keep this person away from
Not
you
save on rent.
until it's time to really like have them in your life. Because if you don't stay in touch too, that's the other thing. It's like, I had this great relationship with this person for so many years, and then now they're gone. Mine, I know it wasn't years. It was weeks. But it was still such good moments though that we had. And then once again, like I mentioned my age, I was in single digits, but it was really impressive.
As a kid, that's what you remember. You remember those good times with that person. So yeah. So a week or 2 years, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I'm off you out listening, girl. Hit me up a melon.
I had an uncle that used to date this woman named Judy, and I loved Judy. She was around when I was really, really little. We'd go fishing. She'd always be at the house. She was this high yellow woman with like red hair, and like she'd always kind of, it wasn't quite an afro, but it was always, blown out and curled out. And she was like, she looked like she could have been in, one of those Foxy Brown types. Like that's how I remember her in my little age, but she was just always so fabulous. So it's funny because I text my mom now because I had forgotten her name. And I said, what was Uncle Bubba's girlfriend's name with the red hair? And my mother responds, why are you always asking me about Judy? Did she make an imprint on your life? I loved Judy. Nobody asked me how I felt when they broke up. I was not. So if any of our listeners, if you have an aunt, a mama, a grandmama named Judy with red hair, light skin in the LA area,
what was Judy's last name?
I don't remember what Judy's last name was.
Cocktails@gmail.com.
Judy's are there in LA. So Judy, I still love you.
Oh, so sweet.
It's fun.
What about you, Tamara? What are your thoughts?
I've never dated a guy with kids before. I didn't have kids before I got married, so I'm really kind of outside looking in. But my personal opinion on anybody else's life was to, maybe you don't bring them in, especially if you have young kids. You don't want the new person meeting them right away because you don't want there to be any type of attachment just in case it doesn't work out and you don't know him like that yet.
I was gonna say,
if you have older kids, it can go either way. You wait till you get to a certain point, like, okay, I'm really thinking that this guy might be the one, but you're going to have to be on one hand, okay, what if they don't like him? Now I've got to make a decision as a single person. Am I going to continue this relationship despite how my children feel about it? Or am I going to be strong enough to be like, you know what, I love you a lot, but my babies don't like you, even though they're not babies, they're in their preteens, early teens, late teens. They hate you, because that's going to be tough. So I think with each situation, I don't know.
What? Wait a minute.
I have a little thought on that, and I will say, because once again, coming from being a single mom, and I was telling a friend this a couple of months back, your kids matter, of course, period, point blank, done. But your kids will find a mate and leave you. So unless that this dude, and I'm talking about the dude because we're all women, unless this man genuinely is a bad person, it's not that you're choosing him over your children, but at the same time, guess what? When y'all leave because you find a dude that you don't want to listen to mommy though and when I say, no, I don't like Tyrone, but now you ran off with Tyrone, but I'm supposed to be alone because you didn't like James from 4 years ago. I said the names I said now.
Tyrone. Okay.
I'm saying not choose a man over your children. Never that. However, if your children if he didn't hit on you, if it's not, you get I feel like he might try and hit on you vibe. It's just more so, I don't like him. If he's a bad guy,
I agree, because sometimes kids can get caught up in, that's not my daddy. So I'm not gonna like any man you bring home. So I get where you're coming from.
So my thing is just more so, remember, ma'am, I'm gonna call us all ma'am, and even you listeners, at the end of the day, your children will leave you. So do you really want to be alone now? Because you were listening to you were letting your kids be your Cupid or your matchmaker all this time, and at the end of the day, now they're out listening and being with whoever they want to be with and not listening to you.
Yeah.
So
bottom line, there's no blanket answer to this. It's a case by case situation.
Well, no, my thing is, don't
It
meet your kids until it's about to be for real. Kids can get a vibe, and if they feel like he's a bad guy, I feel like your kids will let you know. You know, talk to your children honestly. My thing, let them know that you also like what I was telling my friend who's trying to do a step children and step parent situation. Communication is big. Like, it's a big thing. Everyone needs to know, I'm not trying to be your new parent. Also, though, that person needs to try and establish a relationship with your children. Otherwise, it's not real. So especially for Amanda, the guy who was like, they don't call me daddy either, though. Like, you initiate conversation with the children. I don't, they don't, you're the mom, so it's different. But if they wouldn't live with you, perhaps they wouldn't always, call you. Perhaps you would need to be the parent who calls them. So children are still human beings. You initiate that conversation.
What do your kids call Ryan?
Say it one more time.
What do your kids call Ryan?
They still
call him Ryan?
Yeah. But what's funny, my daughter though she calls him Ryan, but she like in her world though, she claims him as her dad, and like she's filled out like her library card and like put his last name. And like, she ordered something online and it was her name and then his last name. So like, yeah, she calls him Ryan.
It was his name. I said she opened up a credit card. It was his name.
All right. Yeah, so
she's like, it's fine.
World, like she's his. He calls her his daughter. They interact as father and daughter. So she doesn't call him dad, but she does. On paper, she feels like he's her dad. Sure.
Not to get super personal, but does she have a closer relationship with Ryan than she does with her biological father?
Super. There's no communication with the other one.
Do you think there would be
that helps? Say it one more time.
Do you think there would be something in the future where maybe Ryan would adopt her, or would that be something you guys would think about?
He said in a heartbeat.
Aww.
But yeah, no, that's his kid, and he has
Ryan.
Have you guys seen those videos where people like adopt like their stepchildren, and then they're like, and then you're watching it,
Why am I crying? I don't even know these people.
Oh yeah, they're totally beautiful. It's just
And then even with my son though has a relationship with his father, but Ryan, like I said, both kids call him Ryan, but he respects him and loves him as dad figure. And then the difference too for my son, he goes from both houses and it's two parents. Yeah. So he like, I don't like none of y'all anyways.
His dad is married, right?
Married, well, I mean, not legally, but
okay.
To me, that's his stepmom. Like they're in the same household and everything else. So she better not leave. I'm saying it right now, ma'am. You better not leave. You got 2 more years at least.
nice.
So yeah, no, he's got whole households no matter where he goes.
Can I tell a story?
Of course.
Story time with Charlotte.
You know what time it is? Story time with Charlotte. I dated a man who had a teenage daughter who actually I got along with. Like, she was a very nice young woman.
And you're young.
And I was single. Huh?
You're young though, so that's not that it's funny, but it's just, like I think,
Well, yeah, I was a lot younger. I mean, not a lot younger, but I mean, yeah, I was younger. And
even now
he had a teenage.
So back then you were young.
He had a teenage daughter, and I got along with her. And then I remember her mother, we went to go pick her up from her mother's house, and the teenage daughter came out and was like, Mom wants to meet Charlotte. And he got kind of like indignant. And I was like, I'll go meet the lady. Like,
how long were you dating him?
By this time we were in a, I mean, it had to be over 6 months. It was,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And so he was just kind of like, no. And then she was kind of like, Dad. And then it kind of also made me see the relationship that he still had with his ex. But anyway, that's another story. But so anyway, so I was like, I'll meet her, you know, and she was just like, well, I wanted to meet the person that would be around my daughter. And I was like, I come from a single mother who, you know, nobody met me unless really like she, you know, met them first in a way. Like, so I had a very protective mother, so I can totally sympathize with that. And yeah, that was okay, you know. And my mom, after that, I was telling her about, she's like, you better start being a strong Black woman, Charlotte, because you're going to be with these people. And, you know, and I was like, well, but I don't want to.
Well, at least she was nice. She wasn't coming at you like, no, I just want to talk to her. I just want to talk to her.
She was very matter of fact. You know, she wasn't there to be like my friend, but she was like, I want to meet the, you know, the person who's going to be around my daughter. And I was like, I totally get that. And before this, before dating him, I had always thought that I would be a good like stepmom because I like kids. But it really did make me kind of like, can we just say for just to take a step back for a second, Christina told us all not to look at our phones before this. And she's having a whole side conversation.
Exactly.
It's not my fault that a whole human that I'm
Right.
keeps harassing me.
She's on mute. We can't see her like.
Totally.
No, it's not my fault. And whatever.
It's like, y'all better not be on your cell phones.
Not just forehead.
Anyway, that's my story.
You know what? To go along with Charlotte's story, it's funny because I was married before. I've said this several times. I was married before, and my ex-husband wanted to meet the person I was dating. I was dating him for a year and a half. He didn't ask to meet him until after the 6-month mark. And the ex-boyfriend refused to meet him. He was like, no, I don't want to meet him. And my ex-husband was like, why? Why doesn't he want to meet me? If you guys are talking about being in a serious committed relationship, talking about marriage, which we were, why won't he meet me? And he refused. Mark,
Will we not do it?
Marcus Jackson.
Leave it in.
And
Marcus,
Marquan
Jackson.
Marquisian.
Oh, you done said his name. Marquan out there.
Marquan Antholius Jackson. Anyways, him.
But yes, he refused to meet my ex, and I just don't understand. So I think that's actually pretty big of you to say, yes, I will meet the ex. And I think it's important for you guys to meet one another, regardless of the situation, so you'll know who's going to be around your children. But I think he was kind of scared.
But
Probably.
that's not okay, though.
It's not. I don't want to be with a punk. Like, my ex-husband is 6'5", like 200 pounds. You know, he's a good build. He was fireman. He's in shape.
Oh.
I think he was just scared because my ex was real tiny.
That's not okay, though, still.
Mm.
Because, I mean,
It's not.
if you look at it just for the logistic, not the legit, but if you
For
look
a
at
space.
it for
But yes, it explains everything. But I
the
think
reality
I think
is, though, you want to, you know, for Char, I don't know if we've ever said your son's name, but if don't want anything to happen to you and Zach, but if anything ever happened and you were dating someone else, you want to know who Zach has around your kid.
I mean,
so
you know, I mean, it would be, of course, you know, I do not project us, you know, breaking up.
Ever.
I can't imagine the conversation that I would have with Zach about introducing another man into the picture. You know what I mean? That would just be so. But I mean, but if that was, you know, I can tell you this, that Zach would be like, well, I'm gonna need to meet him.
right.
exactly.
You know, I mean, and vice versa. Ugh, if he was to bring another.
Right.
I mean, I would hope that we would be Demi and Bruce, and we would live next to each other, and we would be, try to create a healthy environment for our children, or child, I mean. But shout out to you guys who do it.
I have not actually ever met Ryan's ex yet, but my stepson, he already lives out of state, but then he was going into another state after that. And he actually just did a group text with me, Ryan, his mom, and his sister. And he was,
are you that
Wow.
thing
I
that
don't feel like doing a bunch of text messages. So I'm gonna just tell all y'all now, I'm on my way out, and I'll tell y'all when I make it. And next thing you know, like, we have each other's number. And she initiated conversation with me a little bit later. And we're fine. I mean, at the same time, like, he's a big boy, and not like, I never had him in the household.
He's an adult, right?
Right. But nonetheless, she's, I am around her son sometimes. And she and I, at this point, I would say we're fine. And with my son's stepmom, she and I are fine. Like, I love a good group text. So she and I are fine, but she's all, we've also talked without baby daddy being.
I haven't had the group text yet, but okay.
It's a good thing, girl. Well, you know what? The reality too is none of us are 20-year-olds, even though I play one on TV. So it's easier, I think, for us to be mature. Not that there's not ignorant grown women, but I think it's easier for us to be mature, and it's like, it's about my child.
Amen.
Ma'am, who are you? Just want to know because of my child.
Yeah.
And that happens, So yeah,
No, it's whatever's in the best interest of the
blended family
child.
But just for the children's sake, make sure that they were gonna stay as much as you can control. It's like you can get married tomorrow and then get divorced 2 weeks later. So of course that's not on purpose. But my thing is, like, at least we tried.
Well, it's funny, and just like now having a 6-year-old, because I'm not a product of divorce. I was just raised by a single mother, but just seeing his perspective of, like, just even wanting us in the same room together.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see how it must be devastating for kids to go through divorce, and it kind of does give you the perspective of, like, I see why people say, like, they're just going to stay together for their kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
who knows if that's healthy or not, because if
If you're fighting, it's not.
time is that really good.
Yeah, sometimes it's healthier not to stay together, depending on how hostile the things are.
Exactly. But I kind of, like, if you just get along with your spouse and you're just at the bare minimum, like, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of get why you just are like, well. And then you see these poor kids who are like 18 and they're like, what? You want a divorce?
And see, for me, it was weird because I have never, like, my father was never a violent person. And I've never seen my parents argue in front of each other. It was never like a hostile situation. So when my parents got a divorce, I was like, what is going on? That's crazy. So it's very traumatizing, I will say, because my parents they never argued in front of us. Huh?
Yeah, I said, for a child, that's all they know is mommy, daddy, we all live here together.
Yeah.
If that were to break up, it's like, what do you mean? The sky no longer blue? So
exactly. And to me, that made it worse. If I would have seen my parents arguing, I would have understood more. But my parents disagreed in private. They never showed that to their children. So for us, it was a little traumatic. It was like, oh, y'all just don't like each other, so y'all leaving.
how old were you?
I can't remember how old I was when they got a divorce, but I know that around 8 or 9, they were no longer together.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did not understand that, because it's like, for us, they put up this facade so we did not see them in, those, situations. But it's very difficult it was difficult for us. Yeah. I don't know about other kids, but yeah, it was
like, this came out of nowhere.
What is it?
Like, what?
Talladega Nights, and like he's like 2 Christmases.
Yeah, so it was crazy. But I'm thankful that I've never seen my parents, because they're like, no, we argued, but we just didn't argue in front of you guys.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because me and my ex-husband, we argued in front of our children. We should.
Sometimes, you know what, we ain't got time for y'all to go to sleep.
Right.
I need to let this fool know now. He's wrong.
I think that's your fault, because I'm about to go off on your daddy. So
Y'all can go to sleep right now, or y'all gonna hear some things.
and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Well, I think this was a good conversation.
Yes. Wait, do we have a recap though? Like
A recap.
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
What you want to recap, Christina?
I mean, just, you know, like just our full bring the present and tie the bow. That
So do not introduce your kids to some random man that you've been dating for a week, ladies.
or woman.
Or woman. Exactly.
Yeah, like a lot of male listeners.
Because women are crazy too.
Holler back. Cinderella had a wicked stepmother for a reason, because they exist.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that we don't, someone chime in if I'm wrong, but we don't endorse women chasing after men.
Not me. I don't chase after no man.
And we do feel
Not unless he stole something.
holler. Your heart.
Yeah. You bring that heart back here. I need my heart. Oh God, no.
So yeah, unless it's your heart, don't chase after no man. And then regardless, for children, make sure it's real, because they're little human beings. Like, they have feelings and they have brains and they have emotions. Don't do that to them. Don't have, people just in and out of their lives. But then at the same time, for taking children out of it, just your own real issues that you might have, you need to share that. Perhaps not the first night of, meeting, but before people, before people are invested in the relationship, I think you have to share about your DUI or your warrants, or the fact that something incurable is within you, like, you got to share that early. I'm sorry. I'm just the report reads.
You do, because if you have anything, I don't want to be with you. I don't care if you say, "Oh, well, it's under control." I don't care. Control it with somebody else. No, thank you.
What about bad?
She said, "Take your medications elsewhere."
Exactly. What'd you say, Charlotte?
No, I just said, would you want somebody to tell you if they have bad credit?
Oh yeah.
Brina.
Okay, this is my thing. Maybe this is another podcast. This is my thing. That is not a deal breaker, because you can work on credit with your partner. That is not a deal breaker for me. So I would definitely date them if they have bad credit.
Right.
Well, Christina?
I say, but share it though. Like, I mean, don't surprise me when I'm like, "Oh yeah, we about to get a new house, dog."
But we need to know.
Yes, you definitely have to tell me, and then there's programs that help you with your credit. I'm not going to get rid of a good man because he got bad credit.
Right.
That's very true.
But if you are the type of person where you stay with the bad credit because you haven't changed your spending, or just if you're okay with just having bad credit, like some people just got bad credit.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no.
You've got to want to work to make it better and keep it better, not just be comfortable, down in the low 300s.
Oh no, the threes.
Not the threes. Got a credit score of 1.
Is that possible?
If you have a 300,
I don't know. I just threw it
not
out.
working. I'm gonna say.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's it supposed to be over 7, right? 8? I don't know.
600s, we can work together. 300, there is no chance.
There you go.
Christina go.
She fell out,
Anyway,
literally.
I think Ryan is ready for Christina to leave, because they're a little too giddy for me, and I'm a little jealous right now at this point. I don't get jealous, but we need to go ahead and call a wrap.
Thank you for listening.
Stay tuned for next time. We're going to announce that Christina is ready for baby number 3 because of tonight. And
Ryan is ready. He's like, okay, end your podcast. Y'all done talked about what you need to talk about.
Let's go make this baby.
Thank you for listening to Melanie
Thanks for
Cocktails.
listening. All the drink is gone.
Right, exactly. The drink is empty, so we're done talking.
Ryan, calm down and leave her alone for 1 minute, please.
Thanks for tuning in to Melanin and Cocktails.
Thanks for sipping with us.
How do we know they've been sipping?
Oh, they've been sipping.
However you enjoyed us, please follow us at Twitter and Instagram at Melanin Cocktails and like us on YouTube at Melanin and Cocktails. Have a great rest of your day.